Consider this video my living fucking amends. If I indoctrinated you into AA, oops, I'm so sorry. I believed at the time. It's hogwashery. Please know that it's okay to drop the beliefs that no longer seem true to you, that you no longer need anymore. Welcome to the Sobriety Bestie podcast. I am Kirsten, your host and your friend today, as we're talking about deprogramming from Alcoholics Anonymous. So you can reclaim your mind from all the brainwashing, your life from being told who you are, what to think, and what to do, and your autonomy, your freedom, your agency, all of the good things. So today we are talking about the mindfuckery of being half inside Alcoholics Anonymous and half outside Alcoholics Anonymous. My only experience of this is in being friends with somebody who was in this position and talking to her for about a year very closely about her predicament right after I left AA. So I was in AA. I got sober September 2009. I was in AA for 10 and a half years, and then I left AA 5 years ago. So a couple of years ago, I had a friend who was struggling with being half in AA, half out of AA, and it seemed like a huge mindfuckery for this individual. She was meeting with her sponsor, she was doing the steps, she was going to meetings, but she also felt like the whole thing was baloney, so she was struggling. She felt like she didn't fit in. They kept telling her stuff that felt like BS, like pray more about it, do these inventories, and she kind of felt like that's not right. She was also in her neurodivergent awakening period where she was realizing she's likely autistic and ADHD. So she was wondering how much of what everyone's saying is alcoholism, how much of it is something else. A lot of us have other mental health issues, or we have personality things, or we have trauma things, or we have neurodivergent things, all these other things that aren't addressed in AA, and AA is basically treating our alcoholism. But as we've discussed so many times, alcoholism is not an actual diagnosis. Alcohol use disorder is what it's called. Alcohol addiction is real, and alcohol recovery is real. But this alcoholism thing, that we have this fatal progressive disease that goes forever, is baloney, hogwashery, Bill Wilson's best ideas from the 1930s. We have better understandings now in 2025. So I want to start this conversation on this, with this episode, with this video about being half in AA and being half outside of AA, whether we're talking about harm reduction, how to do AA with a little more ease, with a little more truth, and like modern day science, where you still get the benefits from AA, but you're not getting conditioned into harmful ways of thinking and experiencing the world and mind frames, or how to get your second foot, if you're half in AA, half out of AA, how to fully come out of AA, right? How to make your decision. Do you want to go both feet in, both feet out, or how do you do that dance? So if you are half in AA, half out of AA, or if you are partially in AA, but you're having some sort of spiritual awakening around it where you're not fully in the dogma, you're not fully possessed by the ideology like I was a full-on true believer, but you're able to get the benefits without getting a lot of the harm from it. And it's nuanced, right? Because how can you really see the brainwashing when you're inside of it? How can you see the subtle coercion of your autonomy and your power and your freedom if it's happening to you? It's like the frog that's in the slowly boiled water. You don't really notice it happening to you while it's happening to you. I certainly didn't. I think that's the nature of what brainwashing is that you don't really get that you're being washed. But there are people on my YouTube channel, on my Facebook, in my personal life, who are dabbling in AA, getting the benefits of it, but they're not fully immersed in it. So let's have that conversation. I would love the comments to be filled with those kind of conversations so that the people that are in that circumstance, that you guys can meet each other and give each other best suggestions, how you're doing it, what works for you. I think it's a really important conversation to be having about how to, if you are going to go to AA, how can you do it with a harm reduction attitude? I don't hear that as a major conversation, and I think it should be. I'm not against AA. I guess I'm pro safer AA, and I don't know exactly what that looks like, because by the time that I realized that AA was outdated baloney, I was ready to go. I was 10 and a half years sober. I didn't need a recovery program anymore. I could have left like 5, 8, I don't know, a lot of years before that. And so I was long done, put a fork in it. It's done. It's roasted. Take it out of the oven. I am overbaked. I am good. I am done. So I was never worried about or thinking about at all about how can I do AA safer or how can I deprogram while I'm in AA. Now, I talked to somebody on the phone recently who left AA maybe like over a decade ago. And what she said that she did when she was leaving AA is she deprogrammed while she was inside of the room still. So what that looked for her is that she still went to meetings, but she came about 5 or 10 minutes late. So she missed the reading at the beginning of the meetings because that's part of the programming. And then she left before the very end of the meeting when they do more reading or prayer or whatever. So kind of dip in, dip out without like slowly not like distance yourself from the ideology, from the reading, from the literature, from the steps, from all of that. And so by the time she left, she was ready to take one foot in, one foot out. She was ready to walk out. For me, it was more cold turkey. I just like had a moment of awakening, like the same exact way that it was like when I realized Santa wasn't real. I was like, boom, Santa's not real. Okay, it's over. I was like, boom, oh, AA is not real. Oh, Bill Wilson was a salesman in the 1930s and he sold me this whole pitch based upon some ideas that he had that had nothing to do with psychology or medical science or anything like that. Literally a salesman's best ideas. Okay, well, boom, not true. I'm out. I'm over it. Now, I no longer needed to be in the care of a recovery program for alcohol addiction. I was long done. So yeah, I would love to discuss how to move through that half in, half out AA. Let's have that be a conversation. Because I know a lot of people that are DMing me are saying things like they are half in, half out, but they can't let their sponsor know the truth. So I don't know what the answer is here, but there must be a way to do harm reduction inside Alcoholics Anonymous to understand that you don't have a fatal progressive disease, that that's actually not a thing. At least this is what I believe. I haven't found anybody like in modern science who will like fully sign off on, yes, you have a fatal progressive disease as a institution that really believes that. I look at alcohol addiction as a brain injury. I had a brain injury. Brain damage. Alcohol damages the brain in very specific ways that make it harder to stop drinking because our prefrontal cortex is affected. So it's affecting our impulse control. So if my impulse control is damaged from drinking alcohol, it's harder for me not to drink. Literally, the damage from alcohol makes it harder for our brains to not drink. And so that recovers. That's what recovers in recovery. And so once we're a little bit into recovery, I think most of us, but you can't say everybody, right? Because everyone's different. Most of us, our impulse control has been rebuilt. And so we're able to stay stopped. It's not a problem. I literally don't think about alcohol ever. It's been a real long time. I think I considered drinking once after, like in my sobriety at all. Maybe I thought about it a little bit in the first couple of months. Like in rehab, I thought, oh, it would be fun to drink with my rehab friends or something. There were definitely some thoughts in the beginning of my sobriety. I think like at 6 years sober, I had one thought once. I opened a cabinet where I was staying at this like rental and there was tequila there and I was in a very bad mood. I had just getting some very bad like news and I looked at it and I thought for a second I should have a drink. And I was like, whoa, that was weird. That was a weird thought. Shut the cabinet. That was it. So I haven't even had the thought in my head to have a drink since I was 6 years sober. So that was 9-10 years ago. Just the brain regrows. But in the beginning, there is benefit to being inside of a mutual support group like Alcoholics Anonymous or Smart Recovery or one of the other groups. So while you're still in there and you're getting some medicine, let's call it, like getting some recovery, letting your brain regrow, which is super important, how do you not take in all of the baloney? How can you write down what you believe, what's true for you, think for yourself, think critically. So do you believe you have a fatal progressive disease? Do you believe you have to do lifetime free labor to Bill's high control ideology? Do you believe you're going to die if you leave? Do you believe that you're powerless over alcohol because you have a spiritual malady and you have a physical allergy? You have a mental obsession that precedes the first drink and you have a physical allergy once you drink, and that's all because you have a spiritual malady. Therefore, you need God, but not any God. You need the God specifically that comes through Bill's path to God. You can't go to a religion to get sober. You need Bill's religion to get sober. Let's be clear. This is not any higher power. This is a higher power you find through Bill's 1930s ideas. It is so wild when you think about what it's actually trying to tell you to believe. And I believed all of it for a decade. And I indoctrinated plenty of innocent people into believing the same thing because I believed that it was true when I was there. So consider this video my living fucking amends. If I indoctrinated you into AA, oops, I'm so sorry. I believed at the time. It's hogwashery. Please know that it's okay to drop the beliefs that no longer seem true to you, that you no longer need anymore. Oh my God. Oh, namaste, namaste. So I really feel for you, though, in all honesty, if you are feeling that mindfuckery of being half in and half out of AA, because my friend who was in that place was struggling, and she wanted the connections, the friendship, the community that was coming with AA, and she wanted the be able to talk to the sponsor, have like free support or whatever. I just think that maybe it would have been better if she just went to therapy. Honestly, when I look back right now, that's what pops into my head, because she says she was getting free support from a sponsor, but the sponsor isn't giving free support. The sponsor is telling her that she's going to die if she doesn't do this, and she has to give her basically have a part-time job to Bill's idea for the rest of her life. So it's not free support. It's like cult-like indoctrination. The steps do help a lot of us heal a lot of stuff. There is healing in the step work. It's also mostly mental. It's not emotional. It's not embodied. So if we have trauma, which who doesn't when they end up in AA, right? It's almost all of us. It's a lot of us. The majority of us, to be clear, underneath our addiction is some sort of trauma. So if we're self-medicating trauma with alcohol, the steps in and of themselves aren't going to get at that. They're not embodied. A lot of how I've studied it, at least in my understanding, please feel free to join the conversation in the comments and share your knowledge here, because I'm definitely not an expert on this. I just want to spark conversations on all this stuff and take what's been in the closet out of the closet so we can talk about it. Because being half in and half out of AA with the mindfuckery is real. So let's acknowledge it. Let's let it be known that yes, there's a lot of people in this circumstance. A lot of them are talking to me. Again, I wasn't in that. I was like, oh, it's not real. I'm out of here. But I was stable in my recovery at that point, and I was like, I don't need to be in recovery anymore. But yeah, it's hard. And so I wish there was like a community, like a support group. That sounds so funny when we're now actually a support group for the people half in and half out of AA, where they can go and actually tell the truth about how they don't really believe it, but they're getting benefits. You know what I mean? I wish there was a better solution than AA, where it was just based on facts. Is that what smart recovery is? I know a lot of you actually do smart recovery, and I should actually go to a smart recovery meeting just so I know what it is, not because I'm in recovery anymore, because I'm not, but just to check it out so I can share with you guys about what that was like. So yeah, really my intention today with this video was to just say, if you're in it now, if you're half in AA and half out, if you are going and you don't really believe in it, but you're getting benefit in that struggle, there's a lot of you. And I know a lot of you just kind of like hang on and get through it and then leave when you're ready. There's no bonus points for, I don't know, for betraying yourself. Like if it feels like you want to stay in AA and you are getting benefits, even though you don't believe it, that's fine. Stay. If your gut says to stay, stay. I think our gut is the answer. Whatever feels right for you, then do what's right for you, obviously. And you don't need my permission on that. And I obviously can't give you permission on that. But I just think that so much of what I heard in AA and what I think is the language in AA is that you have to do it this way. This is the way. This is how it is. This is the only way to do it. You must do this. Rarely have we seen a person fail who has thoroughly followed our path. And I just wish more people were a little more like, you can fucking trust yourself. If it feels wrong, it is wrong. If this isn't working for you, if you feel like you can't tell this person about that you don't really believe it because they're, whatever, like you can trust yourself. It is safe to trust yourself. And so if it feels like you want to stay in there and you also are keeping your mind open to what you actually might think, like being a critical thinker within Alcoholics Anonymous, I feel like that would be kind of hard, but also really cool because you are getting to change your brain so that you are maintaining that sobriety until you're like ready to fly free and leave the nest and leave recovery. And you're also not going so deep in the dogma and the indoctrination that it's going to really negatively affect your self-esteem, your self-worth, your self-concept, and take over your life. So I think that that would be a really empowered place to be. What do you think? Enough out of me. What do you think? Do you have any strategies? Are you half in and half out of AA? And do you have any strategies you can leave in the comments for the other people here to vibe with, or look for strategies in the comments? Like help each other out. Let's have this be a conversation because there's a lot of you. And I don't have direct experience to give you like what I did and to share that with you, but I'd love to have a conversation around that. Like a harm reduction approach to AA, a survival's guide to Alcoholics Anonymous, for those who are seeing a bigger picture. Like, how can you do AA without letting the outdated dogma take you over? That would be really cool. Because I don't think AA is ever going to end, and I don't think it needs to. But maybe there is something, a resource that can help people do it a little more safe so that they can thrive. Heal, evolve, thrive. That's the vibe. I look forward to seeing you in the comments, and I'll also see you in the next episode. Bye.